Welcome, everyone, to today's show. I'm JJ Flizanes, your host, and thank you for downloading today's episode. Today is a solo show, and we're going to talk about resonance. It has come to my attention, and I have been meaning to talk about this for a long time. In fact, I think I did talk about it a little bit on a show a long time ago. I had brought on a guest who triggered a few people, and I got some emails, and I then recorded a show called When the Expert Triggers You. If you haven't heard that, I believe it's a good episode to listen to. But I think it's happened again, and not that it doesn't happen all the time and people don't tell me. I just want to empower you to make your own choices about what works for you and what doesn't. I hope that you understand that part of my goal in this show and in the teachings of Law of Attraction is to help you make your own decisions, help you decide what your next right step is. While there are best practices for all kinds of things, it's not necessarily the best practice for you. From what you eat, to the vitamins that you take and the supplements that you take, to the help that you get, to the people that you work with, to the programs that you decide to do, there is a certain amount of alignment and resonance that something will have with you. And I would like to teach you to trust that. I would like you to teach you how to make decisions from a holistic place, make decisions from an alignment and not just from a logical head-based decision or a fear-based decision or a resistant-based decision, something that keeps sabotaging you over and over again. I mean, it's the reason why I decided for this half of the year to focus on manifestation. So the second event this year is the Manifestation Bootcamp, which is happening in October. And we are doing a free webinar. So if you haven't signed up already, on September 5th, I'm doing the Mind, Body, Soul method of manifestation. And I'm going to talk a little bit right now about one aspect of that, which is about resonance. Too often, we give our power away to someone who you think is doing something better than you or knows more than you, even though on an intuitive level, your gut check may say, this isn't the right step for me. This isn't the right person for me. This isn't the right situation for me. But sometimes we override it because logically we think, well, they must know something that I don't know and look what they're doing. And so maybe that's the right thing for me. And on some levels, I'm not telling you to focus on your head and your mind and to override your body sensations. In fact, sometimes in the case of, let's look at core wounds. If in the case of a core wound, if the way in which you deal with being rejected or not getting what you want is to rebel and run away, then long term that's not going to work for you. Rebelling and running away is only going to keep you in the sabotage pattern you're already in. Now, how can you tell if you're doing that? Well, there's the work of Imago that we've talked about multiple times on the show, knowing what your core wound is, but just ask yourself, what did you do when you didn't get what you wanted? Now, for me, when I didn't get what I wanted, I tried to educate, right? That's what I'm doing now. I'm educating, I'm offering solutions, I'm trying to convince you of other ways, I'm wanting to empower, I'm wanting to, whatever, get us on the same page, so to speak. That's how I dealt with not getting what I wanted. But if you're someone who resists it and it comes from a deep level, we talked about this on Your Relationship Explained with Harville Hendrix and building new neural pathways. It's what EFT can help you do. It's what EMDR can help you do. But how do you get there? How do you decide? How do you know? Well, one of the ways you can tell whether or not something resonates with you is by getting in touch with your body. And on next week's show, we're going to talk a little bit more about that with Alana Pratt and feeling delicious in your body and really reconnecting to your body every day in a way that allows you to pick up on the messages that you're getting. Most of us live in our head way too much, and we don't notice when our body is trying to tell us something. We don't ask the right questions. We don't wait around for the answer. We make logical head-based decisions, or we give into those fear-based sabotage patterns that we have going for years and years because we think innately, again, in that subconscious brain, that we're protecting ourselves. So understanding what your core wounds are is helpful for understanding what it is you need to recreate in your mind moving forward. Harville and I talked about in relationship when someone has a pull away kind of protect yourself, run away method of dealing with something. We talked about forcing yourself in a way to do it anyway, to go against that fear-based protective mechanism, which is really your reptilian brain trying to keep you in fight or flight. And when you do it for an extended period of time, 30 days, 60 days, you start to create new neural pathways. And now your biggest wound, your biggest deficit is something that now you've made peace with and come over the top. And now you crave or have a different relationship with. So we have several different ways in which to overcome. And we're going to go over that both in September on the 5th at the Mind, Body, Soul Method of Manifestation at the webinar. jjflizanes.com/manifesting, or you can go jjflizanes.com/events. Or we're definitely going to not only look at it, understand it, we're going to practice tools that overcome all of it at the boot camp in October. So I want you to connect with your body however you do that best. And I'm going to give you an example of a story, both for me and for a client I worked with recently, just to give you an outline of what this means. When I first started listening to the work of Abraham Hicks, and I heard, you are the creator of your own reality. I mean, that just resonated so profoundly on every level. My whole body relaxed. Like, wow, then I get to change it. If I'm the creator of my own reality and I don't like something, I get to change it. That felt so empowering. That resonated with me. And as I listened year after year, after year, after year, after year, and I got more in touch with and I understood the concepts and I started living them more and I started checking myself to see where I was being honest about knowing versus doing. Because I knew at some point I understood law of attraction, but I wasn't living it. Not 100%. If I was really trusting, then there are several behaviors that I was doing that undermined trust, that basically gave a signal to the universe that I didn't trust. It was the opposite. But I could sure talk about it and I could tell you why this and that because I understood it in my brain, but I didn't embody it in my body. I didn't vibrate it. I didn't have complete alignment with it. I hadn't surrendered to those pieces that I didn't understand yet. So I had the opportunity to work with a fellow podcaster to bring them on the show. And I listened to their show over and over and over again, many, many episodes, and I found myself feeling depleted. Now, logically, on one side, the information was good. I was in alignment with it. I was completely bought in 100% with the information. But when I listened to the show, I literally felt like someone was an energy vampire and they sucked all my energy in these episodes and I could not get through it. And I kept trying and Doug kept saying to me, why are you trying? Just stop. And I thought, because I want to know the information. Yet my body was clearly telling me, this does not resonate with you. You understand it in your head, but on a frequency level, it does not match. So I've had a client recently who's also worked with another practitioner who said some things that maybe are the same as things that I have said, but somehow the energy that was presented to the client was received in a similar way, was received as if that all the work she had done was worthless, that she was hopeless. And she started on this negative momentum spiral that lasted for a little while until we had a session and she told me what was going on. I stopped her dead in her tracks to let her know she was out of alignment with this person. I also then got to outline all the ways she has grown, things have changed, things have shifted, and how we're reactivating a wound that's really merely at this point just a habit, and how easy it can be to flip the switch on focus when it comes to changing that habit. Rather than looking for the problem, start by looking for evidence of the solution. And within 5 minutes, we changed the story and we changed the momentum. And it really got to me because I want to empower not only her, but you to trust your body. Now, I'm not perfect at this. Trust me, I'm about to share with you guys by this point, when you're listening to this show, I will have already had a certain medical procedure, and I'm going to share all about it because there's tons of stuff. It's been going on for a couple of years, and there's lots of lessons to be learned, people that I've worked with, things. It's a very interesting story that, again, is really, actually, I thought about it today, law of attraction. I manifested exactly what I wanted. I wanted a non-invasive procedure. I wanted it done quickly. I wanted it to be outpatient. I wanted it to be on my insurance. Anyway, and I wanted the way I wanted it, and I got it. Now, unfortunately, I've been a little uncomfortable in some of it because I manifested it in a way that put my body in a position where I was really forcing everyone else around me, physicians and whoever, to agree with me. And again, this is not a conscious choice. I didn't choose to suffer in certain ways. I just decided that this is what I wanted, and I ended up manifesting it unbeknownst to me until this morning when I was showering, realizing, oh my God, I totally created this entire thing. I had a friend once who wanted to quit her job because her husband-to-be, I think they were married, they were going to focus on getting pregnant, and she didn't like her job, but her mother-in-law was very judgmental and critical of her working and wanting her to work versus relying on her son to provide, right? And so the wife, the friend, was very concerned that she couldn't just quit her job. So rather than learning how to have a voice and stick up for herself, she created a situation where she got pregnant, she had an ectopic pregnancy, which put her on bed rest and in the hospital, which then forced her to quit her job. So she got what she wanted. She was forced to quit her job. She had a good excuse, so her mother-in-law couldn't get upset with her. And everybody got to shut up and move on, and there you have it. Now, was it the best, most efficient way to manifest the outcome? Not necessarily, because she didn't learn to have a voice and to stick up for herself. So there were still problems, and I'm sure there's still problems today where there's a lack of communication and a lack of respect. But in the moment of I want to quit my job so I can focus on having a family, but yet I'm afraid of what everyone else is going to think about me, by my subconscious, she manifested this condition, this situation, which got her what she wanted. And a lot of us do that. A lot of us who are too stubborn to take the cue will have to manifest something pretty big in order for us to get what we wanted. And I'm no different. I'm doing it now. But along the way, I've decided, checked in and learned so much and tried so many things and met with so many people and heard stories and got frustrated. But I realized, wow, I really got everything that I wanted because I'm okay. I'm not, anyway. We will leave that story for another time because it'll be more than a one-part story. But as we go back, part of my story is that I was told to have surgery. And I had about 3 or 4 different appointments. And in each one of them, I was hysterically crying. Now, my marriage was falling apart at the time too. So that was part of it. But I, at some point, had to trust my body. And it took 3 appointments of crying hysterically for me to recognize that my body is saying this is not the answer. I do not believe this is the right answer. Whether A, B, and C, doctor and medical intuitive, and these people are telling me what I should do, my body is saying no. And this is one of the reasons why we teach muscle testing at all of the Alive events. Because at the end of the day, a supplement that is great for me might not be great for you. In fact, I got a bunch of supplements from a couple of the guests that have been on the show, and they don't match my energy. They may be great for someone else. I believe that the success stories exist. They have transformed people's lives and their health. But my vibration is either higher or just different than some of the supplements that I have encountered that work great for some other people. So we have to muscle test. We have to honor your body. It is your messenger. It will tell you when things are in alignment with you and when things aren't. And while I may be coaching you, I may be helping you or somebody else who you think has practiced this or lived this in a different way, better than you, more often, whatever. You are still the creator of your own reality, and you still have a path to go on that only you can decide what the next best step is for you. And for some people, it's going to maybe go against what you originally wanted. Or maybe it's a way for you to work something out. But you have to learn to find what resonates with you. You know, I used to use astrology in this situation. I would meet a woman, let's say, for instance, and I somehow wouldn't resonate. I would instantly not like her. And I would think, and this is probably at this point 18 years ago. And I would think, why? Because nothing had happened. Let's say I just met somebody and I would immediately not like them or not have resonance. And I would question myself. Am I jealous? Am I having an interpretation of something that happened? Did I think she looked at me funny? I would just ask myself, why are you not liking this person? What is this emotional response that you're having? Because it doesn't make any logical sense. Well, later I'd find out that on a astrological side, we were opposite. I'm Pisces, and so I would be opposite Virgo. Now, that's not true for all Virgos in me, but if, let's say I have we'll just say I have a 60% feminine, 40% masculine. It may be 50-50. I don't know. I'd like it to be 70-30, but let's just say that I'm 60% feminine and 40% masculine. If I met a woman who was 60-40, the same as me, but a Virgo, there would be this immediate lack of resonance because we weren't similar. In fact, we're opposites. And astrologically, that's proven. So then I would go, oh, okay, they're probably a Virgo. Now, again, that's not going to work out every single time, but at least it made sense to me of why I didn't resonate. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it doesn't resonate. And so what I want to train you to do, what I want you to make your goal is not to give up your power to the doctor, to your husband, to me. I don't want you to give up your power to anybody except you and your source. You and your source energy. Does it resonate with you? Does it feel good? And if it doesn't feel good, it probably isn't the right thing for you right now. But we have to check in a deeper way. We got to go into a meditative state, into a non-reactive, into a non-pushing away from because I feel threatened state to really know what the right answer is. Because back at the beginning of the show, I said, for a lot of people, some of your habits and patterns, some of your ways you protect yourself is to pull back, rebel, and run away. Well, when something doesn't feel good on the surface for you and you're in fight or flight, trusting your fight or flight emotions is keeping you in the same pattern. So what do I want you to do? I want you to get into a meditative state. I want you to drop down out of your head, out of your heart, and into your gut, into your soul, into your second chakra, or maybe even your first chakra, your root and your sacral chakras. And I want you to connect on a deeper level and then check in about what it is you're feeling about this decision, about this person, about this situation. Because when we go against our intuition, when we go against what resonates with us, it always backfires. Now, that might be your path. That might be the reason. That might be what you need to do to learn your lesson. But if we can bring some awareness to it now, maybe you can not have to beat yourself up so often and you can learn the lesson faster. So when something feels good, when something feels right, stay there. When something feels not good, not right, not okay, then don't do it. Change things. You can analyze it if you want. I do that just to sort of understand. Like, for instance, and I apologize ahead of time if I offend anybody, I don't like country music. Okay, the reason why I don't like country music, it took me a long time. I really wanted to know, why don't I like it? Why don't I like it? I don't like it because a lot of it, and I know not all of it, and some of you really hate me right now that I said that, but the reason why I don't like it is because many times I feel like they're whining about what bad things have happened to them. My truck broke down, my dog died, my wife left me. It feels very victim-y. And vibrationally, it feels really low for me. I do not resonate with it. Now, God bless y'all who love it. That's fine. I just don't like it. But it bothered me that I didn't like it and I didn't know why. Now, on the flip side, I'm a salsa dancer and I dance to a lot of Latin music where I have no idea what they're saying. And I realized the reason why I love it is because there's a song, Café con Leche, coffee with milk. It's a salsa song. They're talking about coffee and milk. Yet they sound like they're so happy. I think their songs, they're probably talking about sad things, but they sound so happy. Like their frequency about what they're talking about is in this hopeful, happy, joyful, celebratory way, which is why I love salsa music. So even if the words mean something negative, the frequency is happier. It's higher. It's hopeful. It's celebratory. I love it. And now I know why. You don't have to know why. I like to know why. I'm a Sag moon, Sag rising, Sag soul. So that part of me really enjoys being able to explain to you so that you don't hate me when I tell you I don't like country music, why I don't like it. And it might be fine for you. You love it. Maybe it brings you joy. You feel something positive. I would just invite you to recognize if you feel sad. Okay, I wouldn't want you to listen to things that constantly bring you down and make you feel sad. There are times where something like an angry song will resonate with you because it's tapping into something unexpressed. And so maybe you're not someone who listens to music that's angry all the time, but occasionally, maybe an angry song might help to unlock and unleash some anger that you're unwilling to feel. So we can utilize music, we can utilize other frequencies to help us clear out what maybe we're stuffing down. So on the resonance issue, I want you to, and there's a lot here, but we're going to talk more about that during the webinar. We're going to go over the tools you can use to understand and get there. And we're going to do practices to not only release some of it and get rid of some of it, but we're going to bring you to the highest frequency that you're able to get to right now on a consistent basis at the Manifestation Bootcamp, because you are used to the frequency that you're used to. And when we remove some of these blocks that Lisa can remove, that we can remove through awareness, then your cork will float. We can get to the next level. And for some people, honestly, that's scary because you've never practiced living at a higher frequency, because your habits and patterns keep you stuck in sabotaging because your parents maybe were negative, your grandparents, your situation, the people that you're around, the people you keep choosing to be around, and maybe you're just completely unaware of this. You don't understand it, but we're going to shine a light on it and teach you how to figure it out quickly and how to shift it quickly. So I hope today's show, at least if nothing else, inspires you to understand that you have to make decisions that are right for you, but how to do that is not just to give in to your sabotaging patterns and beliefs that don't serve you, but it is to come to a neutral place, which can be meditation. Come to a neutral place and let your body show you. Let your body tell you what it needs and what it feels good about, and for you to start paying attention and listening. So if you're interested in any things that I talked about, both of them exist on jjflizanes.com/events. All right, jjflizanes.com/events. I would love to see you at both of those things, because this is where the work really gets embodied. It's not just in the understanding. It's not just in putting up a vision board. It's not just in saying an affirmation, which we're going to go over on the webinar. It's understanding why some things work and why some things don't work for you, and what is the best way for you. If we don't have that, then you may be just spinning your wheels over and over again, wondering why it works for everybody else, but why it doesn't work for you. So I hope to see you soon. jjflizanes.com/events.